Hey there, and welcome to an Essential Explainer that takes a pretty unique approach to our rapidly changing workforce. Today, I want you to think of me as your personal career coach, and we're going to treat this information like your ultimate study guide for the single most critical test of your entire career, the AI economy exam. We are right in the middle of a massive, fundamental shift in how work actually gets done. Navigating it successfully, well, that requires a really clear, structured roadmap. And that is exactly what we are going to build together right now. So let me just ask you point blank, are you actually prepared for this shift? Because honestly, the days of sitting back and saying, oh, my job is way too creative to be replaced, or my industry is way too heavily regulated for any of this, those days are officially over. I've heard literally every version of that excuse. And you know what? The data tells a completely different story. What's incredibly fascinating is a recent MIT study proving that 11.7% of every single job out there can be automated right now. And I really want to emphasize that. This is not some wild prediction for the year 2030, and it's definitely not just tech CEO hype. It's a measurement of today. What this means in plain English is that if you aren't urgently upgrading your skills, you're actively falling behind a 22-year-old intern who's suddenly finishing your entire 2-day workload in just 2 hours. Okay, so here is the ADAP framework syllabus we'll be covering to get you up to speed. We've got Section 1, Acknowledge and Dabble, Section 2, Amplify, Section 3, Problem Solve, and Section 4, Tie Together. Let's dive right into Stages 1 and 2, Acknowledge and Dabble, subtitle, Escaping the Messy Middle. To really do this, we have to start with a bit of a brutal reality check. AI isn't just one single chatbot anymore. It spans 7 totally different worlds: text, data, images, video, voice, code, and automation. Dabbling is that messy, chaotic phase where you're just touching 30 different tools across all those different use cases to sort of build a map in your head of what's actually possible. You aren't mastering anything yet. You're really just teaching your brain a brand new language. And the numbers behind this actually pinpoint the exact moment where your paycheck for the next decade gets decided. Get this, 94 out of 100 people get completely stuck in that messy dabbling phase and just quit. Why? Because they play around with 40 different tools, get totally overwhelmed, and confuse mere activity, like, reading random articles about AI, with actual tangible progress. They tell themselves they're keeping up, but they aren't solving real business problems. Only 6% actually push through to the next level. Which brings us perfectly to Stage 3, Amplify, and the Essential Vocabulary Test. This is the stage where you stop being just a tourist. You pick 3 to 5 tools to actually master, and you absolutely must pass a rapid-fire vocabulary review to survive any serious leadership meeting. Let's quickly run through the 4 terms you have to know. All right, term number 1. If this comes up, just remember that a system prompt is basically the crucial briefing you give the AI so it knows its specific role and rules before it even starts working. Think about it. You wouldn't just hand a brand new human employee a phone and say, hey, start answering. No way. You tell them their role, the languages they need to speak, and exactly how to handle angry callers. You do the exact same thing with AI. Next up is RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. This is the ultimate game changer because it's the exact mechanism you use to stop the AI from hallucinating or making things up. By giving the AI secure access to your company's highly specific internal documents, you're forcing it to base its answers strictly on your actual proprietary data, rather than just taking a wild guess. Term 3 is MCP, or Model Context Protocol. The best way to think of MCP is like a literal USB port for your AI. Before MCP, your AI could basically only talk to you. But with MCP, you plug it in and it suddenly transforms into an active agent that can actually do things inside your external software. We're talking about booking a slot directly on your live calendar or sending a specific message right into Slack. Finally, term 4 is fine-tuning. This is how you take a general practitioner AI, one that knows a little bit about everything, and train it on a highly specific data set. You're basically sending it to med school to become a highly specialized cardiac surgeon AI for your exact specific business use case. Moving right along to Stage 4, Problem Solve, moving from theory to financial growth. Because let's be real, passing a vocabulary test means absolutely nothing if you don't apply it to integrated workflows. Let's look at a highly practical case study to see this in action. Before AI, launching a major product campaign meant hiring an expensive agency for weeks and spending an absolute fortune for, maybe 20 creative options? But now, just consider this workflow. Step 1, you generate 50 image variations using ChatGPT Image 2.0. Step 2, Claude drafts 20 headline variations in 4 different languages. Step 3, and this is absolutely key, a human sits right in the middle and strategically selects the winning combinations. Step 4, an automation tool like Make pushes that winning batch straight into meta ads. And finally, step 5, Julius AI analyzes the overnight performance data to feed right back into round 2. An incredibly expensive 2-week agency process is completely replaced by a 5-step orchestrated workflow, executed by one single person in one single afternoon. It's wild. Or hey, consider this real-world example from a medical clinic in Chennai. They were dropping like 30% of their 1,000 daily calls. So they built a custom voice agent workflow. Step 1, they wrote a super strict system prompt for a medical receptionist. Step 2, they integrated Sarvam AI, because it can actually handle authentic Indian languages like Tamil and Telugu without sounding like a clunky robot. Step 3, they used MCP to connect it directly to their live booking calendar. And step 4, they set strict keyword rules for instant human escalation the exact moment a complaint was spoken. By stringing all these concepts together, they resolved 70% of their calls instantly, 24/7, and literally saved 3 entire salaries in the very first month. When you put these 2 approaches side by side, it reveals the brutal truth behind the ultimate salary catalyst in today's market. On one hand, you have the amateur dabbler. They're using 30 totally disconnected tools randomly just to do basic individual tasks. On the other hand, you have the AI orchestrator. Look, tools are cheap and abundant right now, but an integrated workflow, stitching just 5 tools together to solve a complex, massive business problem, orchestrated by a strategic human, that generates 1,000% more output. And that is exactly what commands premium, top-tier compensation. All right, we made it to the final step, stage 5, tie together. Subtitle, Becoming the Digital Chief of Staff. So how do you actually capitalize on all of this? The most lucrative way to monetize this final stage isn't always, rage quitting to go start a new agency. Often, the absolute best path is taking this exact pitch straight to your boss and demanding a massive raise to become your company's brand new internal AI lead. You have to frame this role as a revenue generator, not just some new technical expense. You highlight that 1,000% output gap we just talked about. You explain that you are basically building a digital chief of staff that automates all these complex, messy workflows. And you emphasize that you're leveraging your deep institutional knowledge to build systems tailored exactly to your company's specific needs. Think about it. This role literally didn't even exist 18 months ago. And right now, it pays way more than most traditional engineering jobs. As we wrap up this review session, I want you to basically burn this foundational rule right into your memory. AI will code, humans will program. The instruction always lives with you, not the machine. Because the absolute rarest skill in the future economy is not knowing 15 different AI tools. Tools update and change literally every week. The rarest skill is clear thinking. It's the precise strategic thinking required to instruct and orchestrate the whole system. So as you finish up this curriculum and get ready to negotiate your next massive career leap, I'm going to leave you with this final, absolutely critical exam question to answer for yourself. Over the next 5 years, will you be an employee of AI, or will AI be an employee of you? The dabblers, they're going to get replaced, but the orchestrators, they're the ones getting promoted. The exam has already started, my friends. So how are you going to score?